drowning or choked out to death on the corners. Mistake the taser for his sidearm, says the coroner. To the yellow journalist that won awards for writing facts for World Wide Web press stories, always calling them black. Civil rights violated, here comes C1-7 and CIA and FBI agent, brethren, felons with what Big Brother once heard. Most Moors are nerds and study more than if I'm on the road, no biting curbs, no threats of nooses or fighting for survival. Making Moors martyrs won't happen, colonists, captain, rival. Inquisitionist governors and secretaries of state got stateless on their tables like ribeye steak with no care, blood dripping. They eat blacks rare, foreigners wearing 6-point badges, pretending they're heirs to the vastest estate, Maghrib al-Aqsa. Stateless blood flow past the horse's brow, I swear it's agua. Demons thirst quench, stealing pioneers and organs. Psychiatry, death industry, to start selling black orphans and half-closed coffins, cause legs are missing, killing stateless people, cancer won't even see remission. More lives matter, cause it seems like black lives don't matter. More lives matter, cause it seems like black lives don't matter. More lives matter, cause it seems like black lives don't matter. More lives matter, cause it seems like black lives don't matter.
System, what system? Not gonna make myself no victim. Run down and kick them up, educate oneself and flip them. All of their titles or nationality strips them. Must grip reality in order to really grip them in this third dimensional illusion. Organized chaos, confusion, stealing your attention, mental intrusion. Universal laws, declaration of the ancients. I self-law and master, from the rooftops to the basements, hoop deep to the spaceship. Ever since all creation, celestial foundations, ocean floor to the ranges, to the mountain tip, to the cosmic infinite. Basically we are way above the shit. In other words, get in tune with spirit. Take a breath and accept mental polarity, gender, rhythm, correspondence, vibration, cause and effect.
More lives matter, cause it seems like black lives don't matter. More lives matter, cause it seems like black lives don't matter. More lives matter, cause it seems like black lives don't matter. More lives matter, cause it seems like black lives don't matter.
More lives matter, cause I think it no sound off. It gets affected when rejected, put your mask off. Get my perspective on the record to replay. All the news up on replay, so they wanna cast off. Bury them, on to the next one. Enough of them are gunning down. Use them a cash cross. Can't believe a Tubby that. Can't believe a Taj Pass. Trayvon, Michael Brown, die for us to fan car. The afterlife, visited the class wrong. Who they really wanna see with the crown on high and the guards on free? I am free and your business but your land or your country to seek your inalienable rights. The insatiable delight of knowing thyself and bringing all injustice to light. For the fight is your plight, make your sight for the bright. I'm the mic in the night, foresight for you to realize that, huh?
More lives matter, cause it seems like black lives don't matter. More lives matter, cause it seems like black lives don't matter. More lives matter, cause it seems like black lives don't matter. More lives matter, cause it seems like black lives don't matter.
Islam, peace and love, family, peace and love, Moors. I am Ms. Raheem Aleph L, MHHS, Eyes Wide Open, Sons of Allah, August 2016 Gregorian calendar, along with the Grand Sheikh, Iron Sheikh, Kujo Awo L. Peace and love, Noble.
Peace and love, more Islam to all the Moors worldwide. Peace and love.
Islam. Indeed, indeed. Before we go on, I just want to say I'm really feeling that more lives matter. Shout out and big acknowledgement to you, Roots K. But just for the record, what's the brother that had the second verse? I apologize, I don't know his appellation, but shout out to him too.
Yeah, brother, Drupata KTS. Drupata KTS. That's another brother that just goes back. You know what I mean? Been rhyming, been in the studio together. So, and then he adds an interesting element too. But you know, when the video drops, you'll see what's good. He has an interesting element.
Indeed.
And
Well,
then
you know.
also too, little story behind the song.
Okay.
Peace to brother Anonymous, who's also rhyming on the compilation album. But when we were doing this song, this was actually supposed to be an Iron Sheik 7 song. So, but I only had one verse written to it. I only had the first verse, so I went and I recorded the first verse or whatever. And then when I came to put my rest of verses on it, played me the song with the other people on it. So it then became the compilation song.
There it is, classic.
So
classic.
Yeah, so it's really something from the ethers. You know what I mean? It's not. It's different. This is not try to get a deal music or nothing like that. This is not try to influence. You know what I mean? People's whatever. This is just some individuals who are keeping a art form. You know what I mean? The whole concept of putting something together musically. You know what I mean? Only people on that plane that do that would understand, just like only a sax player would understand a sax player. You know what I'm saying? So people who go back to reels and all that type of stuff and have to do one take, and if you mess up in the last whatever, you have to do it all over again, the people who have, you know what I mean, they're going to appreciate what we're doing with this compilation album. So the album's called Wow, Wisdom of the Womb. And it's the Canaan Land Moors Al Moroccans compilation. So we're just about getting the cover done right now. Everything's recorded, mixed down, just getting some editing done. But it's going to be dropping. It's going to be dropping this year for sure. Oh yeah, it's a 3-disc album too. So
y'all went in.
We didn't hold back. We got a 3 discs. The Love Truth disc, the Peace Freedom disc, and the Justice disc.
There
so
you
we're
go.
going in. Yeah, we're going in.
Yeah.
We're going in on the compilation. We're going in on the compilation.
Yes,
so,
indeed, bro. That's what I'm like.
Yeah. Just be on the edge of your seat for it, Morris. Be on the edge of your seat for it. You know what I mean?
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. So salute to all of you, you know, who put the lyricism on that particular compilation and other things, you know.
Yeah, all the producers,
you know,
all the engineers, everybody who gave their little 2 cents, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
In order to get to the final product. Peace to everybody.
There you go, everybody. Big acknowledgement on that. And, you know, it's cool you're doing the music in a allodial manner, if you will. This way, you know what I mean? Everything goes to you all. You don't need the European. We in the days and age where the Europeans or the Pilgrims are not having standing in anything that Moors are doing, from production and exchange to art to all of these things. They've took advantage and monopolized on all of that. So for sure, you know, it's good. It's better to be on the independent route. So more lives matter, because it seems that black lives don't matter. Now, I just want to say this before we really go in tonight. You know, there's always revelations. You know, I came across one that I particularly didn't know of. As many words as there are in language, you know, sometimes you hear one and you're like, man, I don't know what that means. Let me go look that up. Or you might just be in your dictionary and come across a word that you never heard of before, or you get more enlightenment and more confident in your position or your jurisdiction and things like that. Or even affirmation of lessons you already had. So, you know, just on the concept of more lives matter, because it seems like black lives do not matter. I think this is one of the primitive things, you know, as far as foundation of moving forward in an allodial fashion, with knowledge of self, is understanding the difference between black and white not being nationalities. And it was pretty odd because in the 101s, Noble Drew Ali said white means purity, purity means God, and God means ruler of the land. The fact that there is different ways to say the same thing, meaning Negro in Spanish means black in English. So Negro and black are the same thing, and neither one of them are nationalities. However, it's another word called candor, C-A-N-D-O-R, and the etymology of it is also Latin. In language is Latin, and it simply means whiteness, radiance, openness, from candor, to be white, shine. Then it goes in to the definition and says openness of heart, frankness, ingenuousness of mind, a disposition to treat subjects with fairness, freedom from prejudice, or disguise sincerity, right? So the etymology of candor meaning white is saying the same thing Noble Drew Ali was saying, with white meaning purity, purity meaning God, and God meaning ruler of the land. So it's imperative that we understand those brands of black and white. Now, I know that's fundamental, but it's kind of correlative to what we previously talked about on going in on tonight, and that subject matter, among other things I'm sure will be discussed, is who's the biggest enemy as of right now. And I guess we could also talk about why, but it's kind of a pendulum with it because it's two sides to that coin, I would say. With that being said, I usually recognize, self as the biggest enemy. Like, I'm not saying I'm bulletproof, but it's only certain things that you allow yourself to revolve around that, will eventually get you into a situation. Or where your magnetic energy is at, which you attract to you, that'll get you into a situation. So, hold on, but before I even go down that road, let me just go in, since we're talking about enemies, right? Enemies, frenemies, because everybody says the biggest enemy usually comes from within. You know what I mean? Your inner circle, which is why in certain aspects it's imperative to keep that tight. Because everybody does not have your best interests at heart, and everybody doesn't recognize or understand the limitations of what they're capable of, or the best way they can contribute to humanity. So, people get bitter because, this person didn't do this, or they couldn't do that for me. They couldn't, feed me with a spoon in a bib and different things. And herein comes unnecessary jealousy, unnecessary disdain, unnecessary hate. You know what I mean? Because, one, it went back to the fact you was looking outside of yourself. Not to say again, and I always got to make this clear or put this disclaimer, yes, we do need each other, but everybody can't do everything for every single being. It's impossible. You'll burn out. You know what I mean? It's just what it is. So, it's kind of easy to say, like, looking at YouTube, it looks like, as far as Moors are concerned, Moors are their own biggest enemy. You know what I mean? You got Moors who are in discord, you know what I mean? But then at the same time, it's hard for me to say that because it's like, at the end of the day, who's really taking children from the Moorish women? Is it? It's Moors that have their hand in that business, yeah. You know what I mean? And I'm not just saying that and alleviating the fact that, so-called black people are Moors. So don't nobody take that like, I told you Moors have people in slavery. Moors are Moors, including those who are branded Negro, black in color. They're still Moors. So, at the end of the day, yeah, you do. You have people who work for the same energy, I want to say, negative energy and or counterproductive energy. And, these are the Moors who talk crazy. Certain Moors who are willing and doing everything they can to live free, to bring the light of freedom to the minds of other people. You got other people in turbans and feathers who are saying, no, that's not the way. But yet there's unrebuttable proof that it is in that aspect. Now, maybe they don't want to do that because that's not what's best for them. I don't know. All I know is ignorance of the law is no excuse. So real quick, while we're talking about enemies, page 621 of the Henry Campbell Black's Law Dictionary, under the definition of enemy, in the right column, there's a definition of public enemy. And in that definition of public enemy, it says a nation at war with the United States. Also, every citizen or subject of such nation, not including robbers, thieves, private depredators, or riotous mobs. It says the term has lately acquired in the vocabulary of journalism and civic indignation a more extended meaning, denoting a particularly notorious offender against the criminal laws, quote unquote, especially one who seems more or less immune from successful prosecution. I'm going to read that again. It says especially one who seems more or less immune from successful prosecution. So when Moors are given this information, not that we're trying to be anybody's enemy, you know what I mean, speaking for the Loyal Moors, like Moors who are not indoctrinated, you know what I mean, Moors who recognize we're a nation first, not an institution first, and have, seen or felt what it is to be free, or felt or understood what it means to back a highwayman or a Democrat, demon crafter, or a pilgrim down from any foreign claims. Like, there's Moors who know what that feels like and cannot successfully be prosecuted. You know what I mean? Now, I'm not saying this in the context enemies, but what I'm saying is that because of that, you have Moors who are saying or, acting like that's what it is, because Moors are moving in a free fashion, whereas they're not being successfully prosecuted. Then you got Moors who are being unlawfully prosecuted, which would be an unduly conviction or void judgment, either way you look at it. So they're not really getting duly qualified convictions. You know what I mean?
What does that mean? Just to interject quick fast, and then there's also Moors who are getting wrongly prosecuted, but aren't giving up the fact that they're Moors.
Oh yeah. Pardon me. Big shout out to them.
Ship. Yeah, they're not abandoning ship because it didn't go the way that the studying said that it was gonna go.
Yeah, right. And salute to them all. I've been there before. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I respect it. I respect it because, one thing that cannot change is your decent nature. So, for everybody standing on that square, everybody being themselves, regardless of what the European or the pilgrim is saying, congratulations to you for being yourself, It's a beautiful thing. But, at the same time, you got people who's hating on it. You know what I mean? You got people who have disdain, for it, as if the European agenda is because of any Moors born within the past century. You know what I mean? Like, they had this agenda for a while, family. Their family planning, even though they're doing it with malefic results in malefic intentions toward the people, or those that are chattel property, because you got to keep in mind too that all the ills that we're talking about, a lot of it does go back to the fact that status is the first issue. Even with that being the case, they're still on a mission. You know what I mean? But for the most part, it goes back to status being the first issue, nationality, birthrights. But either way you look at it, they had an intention to denationalize us for, economic power, to make you a part of, what they're trading, what their income is, what will generate them revenue and things like that. In a malefic manner, might I add, you know what I mean? It's not like they're saying, we know everybody needs toilet tissue, so we're going to produce that product alone. And no, they got other plans, you know what I mean? That's cheating people out of their estates, things of that nature, depriving people of their personal property without due process of law. I'm speaking in that fashion. And, it is what it is. So when you see that, I mean, it's hard for me to say, man, like, who is the biggest enemy, outside of self? I mean, like, how do we let that penetrate, our aura, our atmosphere? Why is it, the campaign that it is? I don't know, family. I mean, it's something that goes back. I could say that. I know that. It didn't just start. But being as though, being as though we back in the era of information, or the age of information and enlightenment and things of that nature, you still got the Democrats around, or the Democrats. So, and I'm not just talking of a perspective of, Barack, and that's it. Like, no, you know what I mean? The real society who started that. Now, I'm not even going to go down that road because we know Barack is half European, but I'm not blaming all Europeans. I'm saying there is some specific pilgrims that have an intention or agenda for the betterment of all Europeans or all pilgrims, and they just fall to the benefit by default. So I don't know, Cool Joe. What's your thoughts on it, man? Who's the biggest enemy? You know what I mean? And why you think it is what it is?
I think it really starts with what you were saying too at the beginning, that it's really about self. So when we look at from the definition perspective, right? We know that the colonizers and anybody siding with them are the enemy, because they're trying to implement democracy on Aboriginal indigenous people, right? So we understand that there's an enemy on the political realm. You know what I mean? That like you said, has already cast their spells, right?
Yeah.
But I think that we can manage those ones, because the spells that they're casting are our spells. So if we have knowledge of self, they're not going to cast a spell that's going to get me. They can't cast my spell on me.
Right.
Right? That's just how it is. Right? So the real enemy is self. And looking into, again, with Noble Drew Ali putting divine first in the letters that were supposed to be read in every meeting. Noble Drew Ali talking about a holy and divine movement. You even bring national in it. He's saying it's a holy and divine movement. Now remember, these are the stuff that's supposed to be read every meeting.
Right.
So the holy divine aspect of our national principles is where we would gain the strength to battle the foe, the lower self, which would in turn defeat the exterior lower self. Because if everybody defeated their lower self, would there be lower selves outside of ourselves? You know what I mean? Because the level that he brought the information, like even when we go into Quran and, you know what I mean, the specific chapters dealing with specific things, for whether it's household, personal relationship, you know what I mean, whatever. Interlaid in all those words is always some divine perspective. You know, Holy Quran.
Holy Quran, divinely prepared. A prophet Noble Ali. There you go.
So the enemy of the Moors is their lower self first. And yes, we want Moors to be active. Yes, we want Moors to stand up for their birthrights and their nationality. But keep in mind that there's a chapter that deals with holy breath. And in order for you to hear, you have to be still. Like there has to be some still time when it's just you, nature, the universe, and then that's it. There has to be that time, that reflection.
So that's true. And do you mind if I add on to the environment? You just
no, go ahead, Moor.
Yeah, no, real quick. When you said you and nature and the universe, this is why when you study different Gnostic texts and things of that nature, they always tell you it's almost it's mandatory at some point of your mental initiation of growth, not initiation into a club or anything like that, though they do get sent on these types of retreats. But it's imperative that you go to natural environments such as the mountains. If you're from the lowlands and things like that, solitude on the mountain side. This is what it tells you in the Light of Egypt, Volume 1, real facts. And you're so right and exact with that. I can't even stress it enough. Bro. But before you continue, I just wanted to say you mentioned something about the spells and them not being able to put spells on you because they're yours. You know what I mean? What it reminded me of is something that was in the philosophy and opinions of Marcus Garvey. And he says, the masses make the nation and the race. If the masses are illiterate, going back to spelling, you know what I mean? He says if the masses are illiterate, that is the judgment passed on the race by those who are critical of its existence. Going back to, you know, who's the biggest enemy? You got the critics. Oh, y'all shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do that. And these people aren't reading. They're not even reading the Circle 7, let alone, you know, anything else. You know what I mean? Yeah, to actually have understanding of what's being talked about. So, you know, I just find it rather odd, you know, but I just wanted to add that on, part about spelling. And, you know, what Marcus Garvey was saying about the illiterates, you know, how it's a reflection on the nation or the race. So this is why it's imperative to read. It's imperative to study. It's imperative for these things. Just get your unabridged and go in. It don't even matter. Just go in. Get familiar with things you never knew about. I would say that, and build literacy. And, that's why it's important with the literature. You know what I mean? And big acknowledgement to RVBey Publications on that note. So I just wanted to say that more.
Islam. But the idea is to realize that the lower self is the enemy. That's the whole reason why Drew Ali came, for us to destroy that enemy. Because, your fear plays a part with who your enemy is. So when you open the letter or whatever like that, and then it says, IRS wants $10 million, and then your heart starts beating, that's probably your enemy. You walk up to the car and there's a thing on the window, and then you're thinking about having to go to this building and face this man in this black robe, and your heart's beating and all that stuff. It's probably your enemy. See the cherries behind you, you get nervous, and you're starting to, put the weed away and put all this stuff away. Probably enemy. So conquering the lower self is really conquering fear.
Indeed.
Because once they know, just like animals, once they know that you don't fear, then they won't. They're not gonna pounce.
Right.
As soon as they get a whiff of fear, they're gonna attack.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And we're all working on mastering self. But even when we look at the letters to be read every meeting that people are not reading, Jwali's talking about having the spirit of your forefathers, not just going back to the mindset of your ancient foremothers and forefathers, but having the spirit of them. When we think back to how people talk about our ancient foremothers and forefathers, right? Just doing our research, and you hear about how people talk highly and in favor of our ancient foremothers and forefathers. What spiritual level were they on then? And how do we warp speed that to this time? Because remember, our ancient foremothers and forefathers didn't have any enemies.
You say that again, Moor?
Our ancient foremothers and forefathers didn't have any enemies.
Word.
Their only enemy was their self.
Mm-hmm.
Our ancient foremothers and forefathers' only enemy was their self. Because when you check the record, everybody says that it was the most amazing time living under the Moors. When there was a Moorish empire, the entire world was in extreme gratitude for their being that. The world. What spirit were those people on? You know what I mean? And what Noble Drew Ali taught us how to do is to invoke that spirit in this time. That's why he told us that he brought us everything that it takes to save a nation. Now take it and save yourself. And then you're going to find other people who took it and saved themselves. And with unity, everybody doing the same thing, everybody have the same nationality card, all that, is strength. And with strength is no fear.
Word.
And if there's no fear, that means that conquered. Because by that time, we're gravitating on our higher self. There's no lower self is not even the issue. And all that is going to take place when we do the same thing, like with the enemy. Instead of looking out, turn within. You want something, turn within and get it. At least try to get it within before you get it out there. You know what I mean? At least attempt to get it within. And then on the external, because of the third dimensional reality that people choose to be embedded in, there's going to be foes there too. That once you conquer your lower self, you see those people coming and you don't have to worry about them. Because it's told, it was put out there with regard to those external people that those are the people who's going to be working every scheme. Any type of scheme, they're going to work it. Anything to try the weak minds, to get them to sway in the direction out of Elodio.
Word.
And many people are swaying in that direction, like we were talking about with that trust thing that somebody sent out.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And then people having the concept that you know, and again because of lack of study, they don't even realize that there's stuff spelt wrong, which goes back to the illiterate thing that you were talking about with Garvey.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And pertinent things spelt wrong, not just, you know, whatever spelt wrong, something that really means something. And then an individual is going to see that, pick it up like it has some legitimacy because, you know, they're already in the mode of not study. They can get some benefit from being a Moor because their life sucks as Negro black colored, and then if they be a Moor, now they don't have to pay this and they don't have to pay those fees and all that stuff. But, you know, not studying to know why you don't pay the stuff. Why don't you have to pay? Not just that you don't have to pay it, so fine, I'm not paying. But why not? You know what I mean? Which all comes back to that thing about, you know, conquering the lower self, because those are lower self demonstrations. The concept of really going with that there's a trust that somebody filed or whatever, and then they're the ones that have authority over the trust, and you have to contact them to get on it and all that stuff. That's lower self stuff. Because you're not gravitating on the spirit of your ancient foremothers and forefathers if you think trust is some paper. Especially Noble Drew Ali Trust, who he talks about divine and holy and all that, and then you're bringing one of the most lowest forms of something in existence, paper, to say that that's what's qualifying whether you're attached to his trust or not. Right? The real enemies externally are the ones taking you away from your birthright and trying to get you to be a member. Don't be a member. You're siding with the enemy when you become a member. Especially if the membership isn't tied to national standards. The membership has to be tied to national standards. The membership can't be like, well, okay, if when you say you're a member of Canaan Land Moors Temple, right?
Right.
You came in as a Moor. We didn't make you a Moor.
Right.
Like when you say you're a member of the temple, you didn't come into the temple and then we gave you your nationality. You came with it. Because it's nationhood. It's not membership. It's raising your vibration, not staying where you are. Not about being content and comfortable. Because we're talking about battling the foe, facing the enemy. Really starts with knowing self. And the only way that you're going to know self is through recognizing that everything external is a reflection of yourself. Within. So people would say they're tired. I don't know, I'm tired, I feel tired. You know what I mean? I got enough sleep last night, eating right, exercising, but I just feel tired. You know what I mean? And then that drainage that they feel is from an external force that's sucking them. That the realization that their own whatever friend, whatever is sucking them like that is gonna kind of let them still allow them to suck, even though they know that that's draining them. And then you have the people on the external side doing their schemes to test the weak minds, like that letter. And then instead of, recognizing that they're being played, they continue on with engaging them. These are the enemy. These are the people that are the ones why they have nothing right now. Why there's no Moorish Community Center. Why there's no everything that people ask, well, what do the Moors have? Well, there's nothing. We have nothing because of the enemy. Which really started within. Which really started with in the breeding ground after Noble Drew Ali passed. And people claiming to be things that they weren't. And creating that energy and putting it into people. Then those people carry it on. And then we look around today, and it's a good thing that there's active Moors. It's a good thing that there's Moors with their eyes open. Because this wouldn't be as, for lack of a better term, popular as it is right now if it wasn't for active Moors. And active Moors facing up to the enemy. Like we were talking about earlier, active Moors going through the grinder and still coming out the other side Moors, ground up. realize that it's bigger than them. That them conquering their lower self is bigger than them. Because if we're all Moors, then we're reflections of each other.
Indeed.
And then that's why, you have certain Moors that gravitate with certain Moors. Because they want to reflect what is going to bring out the best in them. And majority of the people individuals coming into this information are looking for as a reflection are individuals who are at least working on conquering their lower self first. They're starting with themselves. They have their own battles that they're dealing with that nobody knows about. But they still have time to help other people with their battles.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But the theme is recognizing that, when we speak about Moorish science and things like that, we're talking the highest degree of where anything you think could manifest. Like literally, anything that you have in your mind could manifest just because you're honoring your foremothers and forefathers, and you're standing in the lane that they made for you. So anything could happen there. Because once you honor them, they're going to honor you. They might even come through and assist you in conquering your lower self. Which is even another level of blessings that you can get from conquering the lower selves. That the ancestors now are gonna honor you. All the ancestors, anybody that's on the spirit realm would honor you. Because you conquered the 40 days and 40 nights.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Talk about it.
You conquered the seduction of the witch.
Mm.
Word. You didn't get drawn in. Why? Because studying forces you to resonate on a higher frequency. Especially if you're studying information relative to your national origin.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Because that goes right hand in hand with what you were saying about having the spirit of your foremothers and forefathers. Not just going back to the state of mind, but actually being in tune with the spirit and the energy. It's some powerful things. I like to look at it all as energy, and if things are vibrating on a certain level, some of those aerial beings can make themselves, known to you. You know what I mean? And I'm talking about through the visual. So, what you're saying is right on, for sure. Which is spot on. Well, it all goes back to, nationality, and that's really what it boils down to. I mean, but when you're dealing with self, yes, you have a nationality, but your inner core, that's what it's really about. What you internally think is what you're going to externally project. So, I mean, I just wanted to quote this again from the Philosophy and Opinions of Marcus Garvey, right? He says, education is the medium by which a people are prepared for the creation of their own particular civilization and the advancement and glory of their own race. You know what I mean? Going back to, really realizing the value in each other in different aspects. You know what I mean? And what can actually be done without being a beggar nation, you know, and being in tune with the fact that when we talk about the spirit and the state of mind of those ancestors, you got to remember it was a time where the pilgrim or the European wasn't a part of that thought process. It wasn't thinking about, you know, some paleo. Wasn't a part of their process. Thought process, shall I say. But then, you know, you go to different points in times, different things became pressing needs. So, I mean, you know, it is what it is. But nationhood, this is another quote from the philosophies and opinions of Marcus Garvey. He says, nationhood is the only means by which modern civilization can completely protect itself. Nationhood. Independence of nationality, independence of government is the means of protecting not only the individual. Nationhood is the highest ideal of all peoples. So it goes back to what's your nationality. This is the highest ideal of all people, you know. It's just sad that, you know, some of us grown or adopted, you know, the concept of, yo, I don't see it. I'm out here fending for self. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't see the nationhood. I know my nationality, but, you know, when you talk about unity, some people are in that state of mind. And, again, that goes back to those in that one stoplight town, too. Like, we all out here, you know what I mean? But we're going to play a major part in the bigger body, which is called planet Earth. We're just like cells in it, you know what I mean? And everything we do is connected to everybody else. So, you know, it's just realizing what your position is, like you said, what you can project, what you can, you know, offer to humanity for the betterment, you know what I mean, all together. So,
because you see,
once you find that,
no, I was going to say that we see where humanity's at.
Yeah.
Right? Y'all really think somebody else is going to do something for these people out here? Everybody else tried their program, and here where we are still.
Yeah.
Only program that never got tried was nationality and enforcing the Constitution.
Right.
That's the only program that they never tried. They tried everything. They tried stuff from sellouts. They tried stuff from agents. They tried stuff from, you know, real people who really cared, moral people. You know what I mean? And here we are still. And then the one thing that, you know, and again, Garvey said it. You know what I mean? Independent. What's he trying to say? Because you're not going to be independent paying taxes to Romans.
Right. Not happening. And take this account too. Noble Drew Ali said, Moors are men upright, independent, and fearless. Please continue. But it correlates, you know.
Directly.
Direct correlation.
You know, I mean, like our duty is uplifting fallen humanity as Moors. It's not about trying to be head of something. It's not about trying to see how much stuff, you know what I mean, you can do so people can say, oh, wow, look, the Moors built or whatever. Wow, that's amazing or whatever like that. All that stuff doesn't mean nothing. Ask Dr. York. They come bulldoze that stuff tomorrow. But if the people have the information, they can't bulldoze that. You know what I mean? They can't.
Right.
They can't move 9 your mind. They can't Black Wall Street your mind.
Right.
You know, that's like Jolly said. You know, more they got. You know what I mean? When this stuff gets back to what it is, there's gonna be fine buildings here for y'all. Where you going? You know, build stuff somewhere and all that stuff when there's all this stuff here already, sitting here. just waiting for the Moors to do what Noble Drew Ali told them, uplift their brother and sister, and everything else is going to follow once we do that. That's why it's good to see Moors. You know what I mean? Just put, you know, with this age of a camera in your hand, it's good to see that Moors are putting things out. You know what I mean? Just putting stuff out, you know, relative to trying to correct people's misconcepts. You know what I mean? Not going crazy and putting up, you know, whatever, but things that make people actually stop, say, hold on a second. He just said what I think that he said, you know, because you know, even like everybody's on some type of information now. There's not really dead people like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they might be going to McDonald's and eating, you know what I mean, bacon on their hamburger or whatever like that, but they know about Illuminati and all that. They know about secret societies and governments not right, and, you know what I mean, something's wrong that they're killing all these people just for nothing. You know what I mean? You know, there's you know there's social consciousness. I mean, you know, it's in the wrong direction. You know, don't get me wrong. Right? Their social consciousness isn't in the right direction, but you know, they're socially conscious. They're more than a slave. They're thinking a little bit. You know what I mean? And with the amount of Moors that we know that have allodial nationality cards, right? There is sufficient Moors. There's sufficient amount of Moors right now with allodial nationality cards that can assist in getting the word out to the people. That's all we want you to do. You don't have to form anything, be the head of nothing. All you got to do is get the information out. You don't have to build anything. All the websites are already there. All the books that they could buy are already there. All the videos that they could watch are already there. Right? The school's already built. All they have to do is know that it exists for them. And then know that it exists from the concept that this is their stuff. It's not 1600 for this.
Right.
You just have to put your time in. You know what I mean? Keep your fiat and multiply 1600 notes by whatever time. Right? And then put that time towards studying. Instead of putting 1600 to something that you're not getting nothing out of it. And then half the people, 3/4 of the people who you're going to and paying 900, 500, 300, 1600, you know, they bill with us and they don't charge us no 500 and 1600.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to one of the master teachers and then I'm going to give them a USB drive and they're going to tell me 100 notes before I get the USB drive full given back to me. Like, that's not going on. Right?
Indeed.
You know, when we say RVBeypublications.com, that's not some plug or whatever. It's like for real, that's where you're going to get the info from.
Well, fact.
Not boost them. Just about the info that's there.
Yeah.
It's about the vault that's there. The vault of the stuff that you said, the Vatican has the stuff in the vault and then we want the stuff back. Well, go RVBey Publication and get all your stuff back.
Real facts.
That you claim that they stole away or whatever. And again, it's gonna be Moors. It's gonna be Moors doing like NOI or whatever like that, doing like Jehovah Witness and whatever like that, stopping people on the street, a little name tag or whatever, you know what I mean, and give them a flyer. Go talk to Brother Cosmo L or Brother Abdullah, and you know, instead of the 300 for whatever you were gonna do, buy some papers. Buy some newspapers, and then you have something. Now you have something real to give out. Because people look at that too. You know what I mean? You know, some piece of paper with some stuff written on it, or you give them a newspaper. Totally different effect you're going to get. Trust me, I know because I tried. And I know. That's why we ordered our papers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
they was plastic.
Instead of flyers. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, Moors have to, and again, like it doesn't have to be, you know what I mean? Like you have Moors out there who are studying, writing writs, and, you know what I mean, handling their affairs amongst the affairs of men. Successfully.
Yes.
Yeah, they ain't got no issues or nothing like that. Nobody coming and harassing them or nothing. They're, you know what? Why? What's the difference? What's the difference between them and people who keep getting in stuff? These individuals are actually conquering their lower self while they're studying. So, you know, they're going to get those perks. That's just what it is. You know what I mean? Your perk, you know, it might not be a lot. You know what I mean? It might be a little bit at a time. You know what I mean? Some other Moor, his stuff might be, you know, everything that he puts is, once he puts the pen on it, it's freaking his or whatever. Or hers. You know? Because everybody has their slot. Everybody has their position to play. Like we were talking about earlier. Everybody has their position to play on offense, but when it's defense time, you have your position to play too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I don't care if you have 40. You better be your man.
Yeah.
You have 40 points, but then, you know what I mean, the guy who you're guarding has 40 points.
Right.
What's the sense playing? You know what I mean? Right?
Yeah.
So it's shutdown time. It's shutdown time right now. Everybody has to get shut down. D up your man. Find a man and guard him. Find one. There's many out there. Pick a man. We're not playing zone. Everybody pick a man. Everybody use a low deal. Pick somebody that's going to be your foe. Right? Your external, your lower self's reflection. You're going to know who they are because they're going to present themselves to you that they're your foe. And then you master your lower self to conquer that foe. You don't need to deal with the foe. Conquer the lower self and beat the foe. I yield the floor more.
Yeah, indeed. I just wanted to say, I agree with everything you said. And, you know, defensive time, I mean, it kind of takes me into the concept of the so-called Turks, you know, or Ottomans, who are Moors, in fact. And I'm not talking about the paleo, you know, modern day, you know, pilgrims and whatnot. But being the chief protectors of the Islamic creed, that was always the duty of you know, I mean, everybody really who was of that faith, you know. And it's crazy because, you know, you watch the tube today or the YouTube and people are talking crazy, man, like Islam is this, Islam is that. I don't like Muslims. I don't like, but then as soon as Muhammad Ali passed, everybody is, oh, he was a great man. You know what I mean? Like, but why? You know, like, it's that very same faith that you're saying is the problem. But to this day, like, give me a better example of somebody standing on a square than you know, our brethren Muhammad Ali. Just name 3 or 1. You know what I mean? Since his time, losing everything on the line like that. You know what I mean? Stripped the champ of his title. All of these malefic things. Stood on his square. Said, I'm not going there. I'm not fighting your war. You know what I mean? And even though they did him dirty, he eventually got a favorable reply and won this case with the appellation or the title Ali. And before he checked out, he knew he was a Moor. And before he checked out, he knew that black, you know, had negative aspects to it. So I'm just saying, you know, it's so many things that's being attacked. Nationality, Moorish faith, you know, all these different things. But I wanted to comment and correlate this, and then I guess we could take some callers. Excuse me.
Yeah.
You were mentioning, pardon me. You were mentioning about the newspaper and it having a different effect and presentation than the flyer or, you know, other things. Which, you know, everything is good to, you know, get the word out and things of that nature. But just to keep that ancient, you know, mode of communication alive with the papers and, you know, the press, the different media, the, you know, the websites, RVBey publications and things of that nature, Moorish directory, things of that nature, Moorish Nation public records, things like that. It's still, I just want to quote this last piece from Marcus Garvey. He says, the function of the press, correlating back to the newspaper and things, he says the function of the press is public service without prejudice or partiality, to convey the truth as it is seen and understood without favoritism or bias. It's an excerpt or a quote from the opinions and philosophies of Marcus Garvey, which, you know, I'm just pointing out the consistency in the message between him and Noble Drew Ali. There's a lot of things consistent, you know what I mean? A lot of things. But we know the true and divine prophet and the last prophet in these days is Noble Drew Ali, the Noble Drew Ali. You know what I mean? El Haj Sharif Abdul Ali, etc. So I just wanted to point that out more. The press is definitely important, defense and things of that nature. But
you know, and quickly too, with regard to the consistency between Noble Drew Ali and Marcus Garvey, remember the teachings of the Prophet about opinions. So the opinions are the things that aren't in harmony with what Noble Drew Ali was teaching.
Right.
Look at because remember, this is how they play their self. Because don't forget, Garvey didn't put out that book. This is after people who put out that book.
Got you.
Right. So without following the instructions of what Garvey told them, that the only way you're going to be happy is if you have your nationality and all that, right? That they put in the book, right?
Yeah.
They could have, on the other hand, been studying and put opinions for a reason, in hopes that other people are studying and realize really that the opinions, throw those out the window, and really the philosophy that Marcus Garvey was really bringing was nationhood. Yes. But you can't have that without a nationality, which is where Noble Drew Ali comes in now. Absolutely. And then when you check everybody else, you know, quote unquote, Nation of Islam, they realize that it's about nationhood. That's why they changed it from Temple of Islam, because if you're a temple, you're not getting nothing.
Right.
But remember, it's still a ploy. That's why, you know, people say that you know, Prince Hall and those people had their hands in that. Because, they're supposed to know better when it comes to certain things. But if they're not going to talk about it, then clearly, they know enough to do and speak in a way that it appears that they're dealing with nationhood. But if you don't have a nationality, you're not dealing with nationhood. So who they fooling? Only people who don't study.
Right. Absolutely. That's a fact. And like you said, opinions and facts are two different things. But one thing you got to respect is philosophy, which is the love of wisdom. You can gain wisdom from a multitude of experiences, and that's for real. So okay, we definitely had a couple callers. I see a couple callers drop. You can feel free to press 1 again if you want to ask your question. And you're more than welcome on the line. But we do have a couple of callers, so we're gonna start with caller 504-338. Is this brother Amazite?
Islam.
Islam, bro.
How y'all doing?
All is well.
Okay. All honors to all prophets, all honors to Prophet Noble Drew Ali, all honors to the panel, all honors to all mothers, all nationalities, all groups of people. Oh, man, it was a great class tonight, great show today. I mean, y'all touched so many topics, man. That was right on. All I can say is, man, just turn up, you feel me? Just turn up. You got to play offense and defense. We already know how that go. For those of us that know, we do have a responsibility for those that do come in the movement. And just because we might demonstrate in a certain way, we want everybody to know, or everybody that's listening, that this is not a game, you feel me? We make it look like it's easy, but you got to study to get on that level on anything you do, anything you exercise, anything you demonstrate. You must study, people. And, Nova Joe Ali already said, study, you hear me? So you must know what you're doing, why you're doing it, how you're doing it, and how everything correlate with each other. And also you must know how things is ran, you feel me? So, I don't know how y'all feel about that, but, y'all don't touch a lot of it,
Indeed. Now, just for the record, Noble, while we got you on the line, there's an upcoming event, September 17th. You want to go ahead and express the details of that so the family listen if they want to travel out or whatever?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Near the Pittsburgh Corporation, and I'm going to go ahead and just put the location, the coordinates on the record. So anybody that want to attend, it is a free convention for Moors. It is a convention of Moors, nationals. We really don't care if you're an unconscious Moor, but it's a convention where we put everything on the table. And it's September the 17th, 2016, quote unquote, 12 p.m. sharp, at 400 Brownsville Road, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. That's 15210. And basically, we're calling all nationals, all Moors, all Grand Chiefs, all temples, any Moors organization, any people to come to the table and put whatever benefits or whatever demonstration that you have and bring it to the family where we can put one collective kind of format, platform, and basically this what it is, this will work, this what don't work, this is national, this is unnational, this is quasi, this is de facto, this is de jure, and put a plan together so we can show our people collectively remedies and basically formulate and correct the concept of our people mindset and show them some action, but at the same time, showing these so-called Moor haters, or I want to say the people of the world, that we are competent in our affairs, and also just getting rid of all the bull about this one and that one when we just showing facts. You feel me? So the convention, basically in layman's terms, is bringing remedy to a lot of things that we have been discussing. So everybody's welcome to come to the table and bring your plan or bring what works. And after we leave this meeting or whatever, you feel me, it's a group of Moors, whoever come or whatever we put it out, we're going to put it on, document it, record it, and send it out. So that's basically what this convention's for. Just a group of Moors coming together that's tired of the bull, tired of the talking, and actually really doing the work and reanimating our culture. And I appreciate y'all, Nobis, for letting me get that out. You know, I know it was long-winded, but, you know, all kind of people listen to it, some kind of unconscious, for some strange reason, they don't hear everything, but, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
It's love.
But, yeah, this is what's up. The people need to know. You know what I mean? People need to know. There's something about out there, man. So, looking forward to
Are you coming out?
As of right now, that's my intention. That is my intention. You know what I mean? But again, like I said, you know, I still got to solidify some things. So, yeah, like I said, I have every intention on it, you know. And I'm trusting that'll be the result, you know.
Right, so, man. I would love to have you. I don't know. I know Cujo probably don't make this one, but there'll be many more. But, man, I would love to have you, man. We definitely going to have a spot there for you. And, man, whatever you want to bring to the table, man, because we've been talking about doing a convention, you know, amongst the Allodial American National, Moors, you feel me? And just put something together, man. Just put it on a record, man, and be like, look, you know, we don't know what you're talking about. You know, this is unity, so, you know.
Yeah, for sure. So, again, that's September 17th, so-called 2016 Gregorian modified calendar from the Moorish calendar, Moorish mathematics. And, you know, you'll definitely hear more about it. Indeed,
right.
No.
And another thing right quick. We are shooting a Moorish Divine National Movement commercial. So we asking everybody to come out in their turban, their feathers, any kind of shirt. We're going to be selling T-shirts and all that stuff, and all the proceeds, all the donations going towards the nation, going towards Moorish Divine National Movement, going to help the temples that are doing this your work and give them a donation for the work they've done so they can do better work, you feel me, and passing out pamphlets and putting packs together to give to our people. So, like I said, we are accepting donations for the Moorish Divine National Movement, and so we can give back to the people, you feel me? So it'll be great, man, and I thank you for this opportunity, brothers. Cool, Joe.
Indeed, more.
There's a lot more.
No.
All right, man. Peace.
All right, good bro. No problem. All right, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and go to the next caller. Caller 443-769. You're live on the air, family. Caller 443-769. Are you with us?
Islam. I am Hassan RVBey at Northwest Amexa. How is my beloved brothers? Islam, beloved. I didn't have much to say except to thank you for the excellent demonstration. It's an awesome broadcast. First and foremost, a class, and I just wanted to reverberate what you guys have brought to the table about the 17th of September, and I just wanted to say it that way in lieu of Article 7 of the North American Republic Constitution ratified 1791, so maybe that will spark a little more as well. But, yes, it would be a great idea for everyone to come on out. near the Pittsburgh Corporation, as Brother Amazite said, 400 Brownsville Road, Pittsburgh, PA, 15210. So that, and as Brother Cujo and you, Brother Miz, have said, everything is already done already, okay? We're not trying to start anything new. It's just like, as a man thinketh, so shall he be, and we've been doing a lot of thinking and a lot of studying, and I think there's some of us that, we've been looking to step off the stoop, so to speak, and really that's what we're looking and seeking and invoking and intending and will be accomplishing during and after the 17th of September, or as it says, the 17th day of September, and that is the 7th month as well, for those that are, following the Moorish calculation, so to speak. But that's all I wanted to say, and just stress the fact that we want you guys to come out, and mainly mothers, we would love for you to come and check it out, because it's nothing except a means to do exactly what Brother Cujo and Brother Miz were saying this broadcast, just to continue to get the information out. And let's put this on the record, because there are a lot of Moors unconscious, and some that actually are conscious, at least they appear, that's color, appear to be conscious, but they're still pushing, as you had said so eloquently on Tuesday, their prophet Abraham Lincoln. So with that being said, we're just going to kind of put this out there for the record of those of you that are out there pushing the whole oath of amnesty thing, and all that stuff, and 13th Amendment and all that, 14th and all that stuff. We're just going to let you know right now, we love you, but 9 times out of 10, that's not welcome. And we will let you know on site what is and what's not welcome. And with that, I yield the floor. Islam, peace and love.
Islam, no way.
Cool indeed. With that being said, we're going to go to the next caller. Caller 719-964. You're live on the air. Are you with this, man?
Yes, I am. Honor to the panel. Honors to the brothers that just called in. This is Bokhari Bey coming to you from Northwest Mexico.
Islam.
Islam.
Islam. I had a few things to say, but Cujo already knocked it out the park. And Miss Rahim, you done knocked it out the park as well. So what I'll do is I will try to stay with the flow. I like what I just heard from the, brother, and I would love to attend. I have some things that I would like to say, and I would like to share with the family. And so if I can make it at all, because I do have some stuff going on that I would like to, that I'm working on with some other Moors as well, to get the word out on certain topics. And if I can make it out there, I would love to attend. And then one of the things that I liked about what I don't want to butcher the brother's appellation, but the last brother who called in just before me, I like what he said about there's going to be certain things that, will not be accepted. And I'm paraphrasing, because I feel the same way about those type of individuals who push that oath of amnesty crap and naturalization. And I don't mean to offend anyone, but I would just say this. One of the things that I loved about what Cujo broke down throughout his soliloquy was that everything starts with morality or divine law. Because so since I'm going to stay in my lane, I can speak on what I know on. As a soldier, as a veteran, if you don't have that with you, you are simply you'll basically sell your skills to the highest bidder. So you're basically a mercenary without morality, without a common cause, without a nation, you see. And I think that is important in any field that you're in, responsibility for your actions. So as an example, if you bring somebody with you to an outing and that individual is bereft of morality, regardless of how long you've known that individual, you brought that evil into a positive situation. You are just as responsible for any ills that individual causes, even if you didn't lift a finger. But you allowed it to happen because of whatever, so you're responsible as well. You see, and I think that this is one of the things, again, Cujo knocked it out the park, but this is one of the issues that dealing with our lower self, when Cujo talked about the internal as well as the external, that will, I think, carry us a long, long way. And I'm not gonna, talk a whole lot, but I'm excited. This is the first time that I heard about this event that Brother Amazite is, having. I'm kind of ticked off because he didn't call me and invite me. But I just want to say that this is beautiful, and if I can make it, I'm certainly going to be there. And Islam, I yield the floor.
Islam.
Indeed. Sounds like it's going to be good. It's going to be good, as it ought to be. Indeed. But, yeah, for sure. Brother Bakari, thank you for staying tuned in and calling in as you do. We highly appreciate it. And, all right, we're going to go into the next caller with that said. Pardon me, Cujo, unless you want to add something on. Pardon me.
No, I'm straight, more.
All right. Pardon me. So with that being said, thanks for your call. Caller 347-734. You're live on the air. Are you with us?
Islam. I'm here. Can you hear me well?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Indeed.
All right. Islam, this is Anya Elia Zenga Asia Bay calling from Northwest Mexico.
Peace and love.
Peace and love. I just wanted to obviously always say thank you for a great class. I missed some of it because I kept going in and out of service, traveling. But appreciate all that y'all do. I wanted to add on basically to, or just give a piece of information that I've mentioned before. So that whole convention or event that's going on September 17th, I find that maybe everyone should look into it. Like I said, I've mentioned this before, the Forgotten Storm of 1928. And that's around, I believe, September 16th. And I find that if you look more into it, and if different people actually really research more into it, they may come up with different pieces of information that'll come together and realize certain things. And I don't want to mention it before, but I'd rather people kind of research more into it and its correlation to Mickey Mouse and the creation of Mickey Mouse and everything related to Mortimer Mouse, and things like that. So that was just something I wanted to add on. I think it'd be a great conversation starter at the convention. I will unfortunately not be able to be there because I'm trying to handle other things, but that was just something I wanted to add on. Again, thank you for all the information that y'all bring up and everything else. Shout out to much love to Brother Bakari. I really appreciate all the work that he does. I never really have much time to say anything to him, but I definitely appreciate him. And, just letting you know that, a sister's tuned in, listening to, the son's work, So, peace and love.
Peace and love. Thank you so much.
Peace. Islam.
Adam. Islam. All right. Cool. With that being said, we're going to go to the next caller. Caller 314-802. You're live on the air. Are you with us?
Yes. Islam, Moors. Peace and love.
Peace and love.
Peace and love.
First, as always, we want to give thanks to you guys for always being consistent, giving information, and allowing us to speak back and forth. I'm so happy to hear that there's going to be a convention for remedies and things of that matter, because, you know, a lot of times when we are so sporadic and so far apart, you know, few and in between, sometimes we do have little issues with our remedies, but that's where the studying comes in at. And it is a lot of studying. I've been looking through the administrative rules and courtroom rules and things like that, and it can get a little, what they can say, like stereo instructions, and it can be a bit overwhelming, but reading those things have helped me to realize why certain things are even in the writs, like the discoveries and the recoveries, because I was reading one instance where how they say things become securities. Well, a lot of these places use the fact that they just sent you a statement of account 3 times, and they can use that as to show that they try to, how do they say, settle the matter with you. So all they have to do is present those things without, and they can get a summary judgment on it. So with me right now, I'm going through a situation with the probate courts who are trying to take my home for real estate taxes, or actually real estate taxes. And the thing is, they don't even have a case number, or a case has been filed. So I sent the discovery, of course, to the claimant who's claiming that they have an interest in my home. And I found out it's in probate. And so I'm like, well, why is this in probate court? Well, they're basically saying that they can't find an heir or something like that. But because there is no case that has been actually submitted, no one can come in to what they would call an adversary complaint. So I actually spoke to the judge, and they were like, we haven't gotten to that yet. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but you sent me this writ in the mail about a notice and a suit, and I need to file some papers. However, there's no case number to attach any of this stuff to once I try to file it. So with remedies, like, what do you do in that situation?
I would say simple as this: you need to nationalize the land, like, because you got to remember, you know, it's about the land, not necessarily the house.
Exactly.
And
they're saying that I haven't paid the land tax, so subsequently, because my house is sitting on top of their land, that they're going to foreclose on it. Yeah, I understand that it's the land and not the house sitting on top of the land. But my thing is, how do you all own the land?
They don't. That's what you need to know and always project. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're talking about they're looking for an heir. That would be you. If you're in your proper person, if you're in your own proper status, you make the claim of being the heir, of being the lineal descendant to what? The land. So, you know, the question would go back to, you know, well, who is claiming that, what's the nationality of the being or the persons claiming that they own the land? Are they Europeans? Are they pilgrims? Who are they? You know what I mean? That's really what it boils down to, is who, you know? And who has possession, what's the superior claim, the fact that ancestral estates cannot be brought, sold, or transferred, so the only consideration is that of blood. So therefore, once you make the claim to the land, there's no way that a pilgrim can have a higher claim to the land than you. It's impossible. You know what I mean? Now, another thing, too, is you do need to get clear on who's all the parties that are involved, you know, because you said it's in probate, which I don't know where you're at. Usually that goes under, quote-unquote, superior courts. But for the most part, they're all English venues anyway. So they really don't have the jurisdiction. So they got their probate division, which is what? About it's cheating. You got the chancery division, you know what I mean? Which is what? About change.
It lists all that. It even speaks of, if you go into their administrative rules and all of that stuff, it even talks about the Sesticate Trust, the magistrates and the barristers. Like, it's not even hidden. They show it right there, and you can read all about it. And I actually presented, like I said, this case has not even been entered yet. They're trying to move on it as if they have a case number. Because I'm like, well, if there is no case number and no case has actually been entered, because according to their courtroom rules, they have to enter this electronically, and it has to be made public. Well, none of that has happened, so they're in violation of that courtroom rule. And then, as I said, if anything in probate, once an heir or anyone with interest comes in, it becomes adversary, which means they're supposed to change it to a civil proceeding, because they're doing it now in rem, which means it's a lawsuit against the property and not necessarily me. So my appellation name, nothing is actually attached to it. And I'm like, well, the property or the land is not a breathing, living thing. It can't come down here and file any paperwork or defend itself or file a objection to the sale. I'm standing in front of you as the heir, in propria persona. I mean, I went through all of this. Now, the collector of revenue, the city of St. Louis, the state of Missouri, none of these alleged claimants are there or present. They're not even in the courtroom. Yet he's already made his decision, because he's saying to me, he's stumbling over his words the whole time I'm talking to, so he understands what I'm saying. He's like, okay. But if you don't apply or go along with these proceedings, they're going to foreclose on your home. And I'm like, well, they don't have the authority to do that, really, unless you rule on it at this point. So you're already saying that you're not going to be bipartial. You're not going to be neutral in this. You've already made your decision, even though they're not even here to defend themselves. And I presented everything that you said. I'm the heir. This is my land. You know, even in my writ, I asked for the nationality and everything. Sent them the default judgment, sent the recovery. They have the paperwork. And he's like, yeah, okay, you better pay these taxes or they're going to foreclose. Now, mind you, the case hasn't even been entered as a case yet, because they kept saying we haven't gotten to that yet. Well, why would I wait until you actually start doing this?
Now, did you get anything from anybody with regard to the taxes?
Well, they sent me, of course, the statement of account.
All right. So, same thing that you did with the court, because the way I'm looking at it, if they're not going to put a case number on it, then they're pretty much telling you it's your house.
Right, and I also read that probate court is actually to determine who's the title holder.
Yeah, but keep in mind that you're not dealing with a court.
Right.
They're colored, so whatever they do, it's colored.
Mhm.
Everything.
I even mentioned that when he said that they were going to foreclose. I'm like, that sounds colorable, under color of authority, because how can they have authority over me, and I'm the living, breathing? They're a corporation. They don't have a parity with the real. No, they have rights.
But this and this is what we're saying, that you have to recognize that those people that you've been dealing with, they are really colored.
Mhm.
Right? They thought they were dealing with average nigger, and they started some proceedings. Now they realize that, it's not a nigger now. It's actually somebody who knows the law and knows about, the quote-unquote private side and the public side.
Mhm.
So if they're saying that you have taxes to pay, but they have something in court that doesn't have a case number, then the people who you should really be dealing with is the people who are claiming the taxes are owed, not the court.
That's what he said. And I sent the writ of discovery to the one claiming that the tax has been owed. I told the judge, I said, well, because he said the same thing, and I said, well, I sent the writ of discovery and disclosure. They did not reply in the given time. I sent a notice of default on the exact same, on the day that time ran out. On that day, I came to the court and filed that because the court clerk said to me, well, there's no case number. These are the last ones that I'm doing this year. So I'm like, okay, but he sent me this letter, this writ, saying that there was a suit and that I need to file something with the court. So if there's no court case or case number to attach it to, she was like, well, I have to file it regardless. She was like, and hey, the land tax lawyers will be here on the 18th. So she's telling me this, like you can come to the court, talk to the judge or whatever. So, like I said, when I got there, and I'm like, well, it's land tax suit 188. Now, mind you, this land tax suit has 800 different addresses, so it's really a land grab. They're going to take land from 800-something different people. And so I went back on the 18th to just address the matter. And, again, they're like, well, we haven't gotten to that yet. Okay, I know that, but I'm here to address it before we do any more proceedings. I sent the default judgment. They haven't replied. I sent the recovery. They haven't replied. You need to enforce the default judgment because I've tried every effort to resolve them because I'm not here to argue the tax. I'm here to argue your authority to tax because taxing is vested in Congress, and it's not talking about us. We're not commodities, so it doesn't even apply to us when it comes to tax. And he's like, well, and I'm like, well, I said, do you have an oath of office? Yes, I did take an oath in office. I said, okay, then you know that the supreme law of this land is the Constitution, not statutes. They don't apply to the natural people. And I said, well, where in the Constitution does it say that you can cheat the people out of their property and steal it? And he said, well, I don't think it says that.
Well, one sec. Quick question. What did you CC your writs to anybody?
I didn't CC it initially because they were saying that the case number that the collector of revenue and the attorney were giving me were not case numbers. And then they were saying, well, what's the parcel number? I give them the parcel number that's on my deed. They're saying that's not the parcel. That's the city's account number. And so it's like, well, all this information that you all are dishing out, so basically you have people fraudulently putting numbers on their deeds that you know is not the parcel, but it's your account number to tax them, to attach them and put them under your jurisdiction.
Yeah, for sure.
So how do I send this to the district court or a superior court without it actually being a case yet?
And it sound like they my fault.
Go ahead,
it sound like Noble, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Moor.
Nah, I was just saying because with the land tax, they want you to make that to this quote unquote state, right?
Right.
The state Department of Land Tax and things like that, right? So what
Department
you need to do
Equalization.
Okay. So in the aspect, it's kind of tough because you don't have a case number, but you might want to bring an action to the Supreme Court yourself and put your claims in. You know what I mean? Before they do it. You know what I mean? I mean, even though they would never try to take you to the Supreme Court because they know for the most part they really, if you really on your square, you know, they wouldn't win there. You know what I mean? But like you said, they don't even have the authority to tax, so you already have you have grounds for a cause of action. You know what I mean? Like you have grounds for a cause of action. That's it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And I was researching the cause of action too, and like I said, they used the fact that you didn't pay the bill as their cause of action. But like I told them, how can I pay the bill when I have no lawful money? No one in here has lawful money. No one has gold and silver coin. And if you're willing to accept fiat, then you reduce yourself to a private citizen. Do you want the fiat? And he's like, well, look, you're going to have to deal with them. Well, they won't do anything. I call them. I go see them. They don't even want to talk to me. They don't want to give me any information or anything. So I happened to call down there earlier this week, and I asked the lady, when is the supposed sale of the property? And she said next summer. And I'm like, next summer? So how are you sending me something 3 months ago about something next summer, but you haven't even filed a case now? I'm like, all of this is fraudulent because it says the first thing you do anytime you put anything into civil proceedings is you have to do an electronic filing. Within 48 hours, the actual affidavit, sworn affidavit, has to be in with the court clerk and sealed. What they gave me was not sealed. It was not signed by the attorney for the plaintiff. It was not electronically filed at all. So it's like...
Now, think about this again, right? I'm going to say it again, right? They are colored. They're a fraud. Everything that they're doing is fraud.
Right, they're violating their own rules.
Like, okay, all right. So the fact that they're violating their own stuff lets you know how much of a fraud that they are.
Right.
If they're violating their own stuff, right? And remember that you said they have a list of 8,000 people or whatever who they're doing this with. Right? So you have to continue with the pressure on them.
Right.
Because like you're saying, you have things now. You have discrepancies that need to be addressed. Right? But you're not going to go to the criminals to address their stuff.
Right.
Right? So you could also do a writ of error and point out all the errors, right? As well add the cause of action to that. And send that to the court and send that to the tax people and send that out to a few people outside of the colored people. Because again, like I'm looking at it like they gave you like it's your house. All you have to do now is have a title. You go on RVBey publication, the permit's right there.
The allodial title?
Yeah, the permit. Yeah. And then you just put the permit, and you put the permit in the window. And then you make a copy, and you send it to all those people.
Okay. Because somebody else is saying that I need it.
What else is there to do other than make a claim? Because right now, it's stalemate right now.
Right, exactly. Because they're not allowing me to make a claim.
No, but it's not necessarily they're not allowing you. It's you're not making a claim.
Right.
And they can't claim because they're not the heir.
Exactly.
And you do the claim with the permit.
Well, again, like what it's. I don't want to say do it with the permit because I want you to do it. Conceptually, I'm telling you that there's a permit, nobody's made a claim, the only person that can claim is the heir, which is you, so maybe it might be in your best interest to make a claim. Use the longitude, latitude of the jurisdiction, whatever the quote-unquote address, as they say, is. Longitude, latitude, put that on the permit, and then put everybody on notice that this is your claim.
Okay.
I was
actually thinking about doing that.
Yeah, based on the facts of no case number, going back there 500 times, talk to this guy by name under the guise of whatever corporation he's working for, and then you talk to the tax people, guy by name, under the guise of whatever European foreign cheating corporation that he works for, and you just let him know that, as an heir, since your rule section whatever says only the heir can make a claim. Well, I'm the heir, I'm Moorish American. I claim, bam, bam, bam. Get your autograph on it. Find yourself 3 witnesses that got L or Bay too. You know what I mean? Get them to witness and send that out. Put everybody on notice, and then see what happens from there. Because I'm looking at it like they're giving you the house. You know what I mean? Because they got 8,000 people to deal with, and if you do nothing, then you're just sitting there waiting on them while they're going to get the 8,000 people.
Right, exactly. Because
you know what I mean? And that's really how they're getting the money, through your energy of waiting around on them.
Mhm. Right, because I even with the associate, because he's an associate probate judge, it says that he has to be a lawyer for a certain amount of years. So I went to the Missouri bar to look up the attorney for the plaintiff and the so-called magistrate, and neither one of them are listed. So I'm writing the Missouri bar to actually effectuate and prove that they are actually members, that like they say they are, and they have a license to practice, which will be another addition or attachment to all the other claims, that they're not who they say they are. Because I actually taped the entire court section. Because like when I got there, they were like, what are you doing here? Because everyone that was there was actually buying property that had already been sold. So me being there for this, they're like, what? And so me making the claim in front of the magistrate that I am the heir and I'm bringing and I'm claiming, you know, interest in the property, he wasn't trying to hear that. He's like, yeah, okay, well, pay your taxes or they're going to foreclose on your house. So I'm like, okay, so you're not hearing me. So I have to go next above your head. And I was
but remember, you're not hearing him either, because he said pay your taxes or they're going to take your house.
Right. With no jurisdiction. No right words.
Yours.
And I addressed that. I said, "How? If I own it, then how can you steal it?"
But remember, they're the middleman. They don't have nothing. That's like you. That's like you know, somebody hit you, and then you're talking about the guy in front of your car, not the guy who hit you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. So redirect your focus, because it's not the court. Because remember, they say that we have no. Okay, it's like this. Like a few years ago, I got a letter from a collection company saying that I had a debt and they're taking me to court. Right?
Hold on, Cool Joe. I don't want to cut your wisdom, but just for the record, those who are listening via the internet, the live internet feed is going to go down in about 5 minutes. It's going to go down. So you can go to the archives if you don't want to call in. Now you can go back to the Blog Talk archives, listen to the last hour, and also Najib Safar L's YouTube page. And in a couple of days, it'll more than likely be there. Now, before I go in and announce the number, because in the studio it's saying that the call-in number is different. Did you all call in on the usual number, the 347?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
I did.
All right. So the call-in number is usual, and we will continue the rest into this next hour. But other than that, you can go back and listen to the archives, and thank everybody for listening. Pardon me, Cool Joe, I did not want to cut your wisdom, but I just wanted to say that before cut off. Okay, so you were saying about a letter you got, Islam.
So I got a letter from an agency or whatever like that saying they're taking me to court for some debt, right? So I went to a debt management company, you know, where they take debts and then they give you a payment plan or whatever. And the guy took the thing, you know what I mean, that I brought or whatever. He's like, we can't do nothing with this because it's going to court. You know what I mean? But, you know, he was kind of looking at it funny, you know what I mean? So I just asked him, like, what's wrong? Like, what, you know what I mean? Is there a problem with with the stuff. He's like, hey, I don't know, this might not be real or whatever. You know what I mean? This might just be some tactic that they're trying to use to try to get you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So all these people know what they're doing. You know what I mean? It's not like you're saying something and they don't know what you're talking about, and then they're trying to, you know what I mean, get up. Like, they have nothing to do. All they have is information about it, but they don't have anything to do with decision. It's really the tax people.
Right.
That's really who you should be dealing with. And then as far as the thing that you're saying, you know, not dealing with the subordinate, dealing with the master, that's where you bring in the governor and those people.
Mm-hmm. Because the commissioner or the collector of revenue is actually appointed by the mayor.
Which means that they're municipal, which means they're not constitutional, which means they're violating the Constitution, and whatever taxes they say that you owe, on top of it, them not being Congress, but you got nationality. Taxes don't apply to you.
Mhm.
Bottom line.
And I didn't send the court my judicial proclamation and name change information. I didn't send them a copy of that. I just sent them the discovery that I sent to the collector of revenue that was unanswered, and the default judgment, and because it specifically says in there that the movement had the discovery has to specifically have a statement where the movement is objecting or has made every effort to contact the other party to satisfy the matter, which would be the evidence by the discovery and the default judgment. I'm doing every effort to handle the matter simply because I'm letting you know I'm a national and none of this stuff applies to me, so you need to kind of correct your position in dealing with me.
Yeah, but remember, the point is that they don't have a position. They were a decoy. They were a decoy to have your energy going in that direction, only because of your training that you knew to deal with all the parties. Because remember, they have a list of 8,000 people that they're doing this to.
Right. And they won't give me the petition.
Who majority of the people who that they're dealing with, they're going to go along with the probate and the foreclosure and all that.
Yep.
Right.
Because they're just used to people either paying the tax or defaulting. They're not used to anybody coming in saying any of this. People will get that letter and they'll either pay the taxes or they don't have the money or they're scared and they don't reply in any kind of way. So they get a summary judgment in rem.
Right. But they can't move there with you. They can't go there. All they could do is adjourn because there's really no case.
Right. And then when they gave me the
tax people, don't worry about what you've already done with the courts is already done and doesn't need any more of your attention.
Okay.
Because they told you there's no case. They're telling you need to go talk to the tax people and pay your taxes. Right? So think about what they're saying to you. The judge, who's the guy who has all the authority or whatever in the building or whatever like that, is telling you, we don't have nothing to do with this. You need to go talk to the tax people and pay your taxes. So if he's the judge, that means he's supreme authority in there. And if he says that, then all right, that's what it is. And there's no case number on top of that.
Right. What they have listed as the case number, when they printed the paper out from the attorney, it says the cause number. It's not a case number; it's a cause number.
Right. So now that quote unquote number, cause number, that could be the number under the tax people's thing.
Mhm.
Right, because they're a separate system, so they're going to have their own numbering system for how the files are going to be laid out in their system.
Exactly, because the first four numbers is for the actual jurisdiction of the court.
So you play possum, and you call them with that number. Cause number, whatever, and see if they just pull it up. And then you get all the information that you're supposed to get and make your claim.
Yeah, there's no information. I've been there 4 times trying to get the information. Even when they pull it up in their system, there's no affidavit. There's the petition that they claim is wrapped up with all these liens and parcels encumbered with tax liens. There's nothing in there. All it shows is the magistrate and the attorney for the plaintiff. That's all the information that's in the whole cause number, and which is supposed to be electronically filed with all this information with these sealed documents by the clerk. And the clerk doesn't even have a seal on it.
So that's grounds to dismiss for lack of evidence, too.
Pretty much.
It sounds like there's a lot of lacking of evidence going on with that.
Yeah.
So that's even more grounds for. And it's hard to say that when there's no case number ab initio, but, the cause number, lack of evidence, you know what I mean? Law is about the law of evidence. That's really what it boils down to, for sure. And superior claims. So if you want to, if I was you, and I'm just suggesting that you look into this might be another move you could make, but you should study first. But if you look into this, you might be able to do this and fall back, because this is something that basically puts them on the spot to respond to. And it's called a droitural action. Droitural action. DROITURAL and then space action. So a droitural action is one founded on the right to determine the title to land as distinguished from possessory action. You know what I mean? And again, the reference there is store of rapalgi. You know what I mean? Collection of maxims. So.
And say that again. What kind of action? Droitural
action,
which is one
founded. I'm gonna spell it for you. DROITURAL. Droitural.
Okay.
Action. You want to study into that, so that, you know what I mean, these people who claiming that, you owe them some sort of tax. Put your claim in with your superior title as heir and things of that nature, and challenge their title to the land to even say anything about tax on it. You know what I mean? Also, I just want to leave you with this, and I would you could look at this in cases on international law, principally selected from English and American courts, edited by James Brown Scott. And on page 175, it's talking there about, or it says verbatim, it says, as the right of society to prescribe those rules by which property may be acquired or preserved is not and cannot be drawn into question, as the title to lands, especially is and must be admitted to depend entirely on the law of the nation in which they lie. So meaning, this all goes back to nationality. You know what I mean? Those rules. You know what I mean? And when you're talking about prescription, that's contrary to custom. But the thing is, if you're in your free national status, you already have the title. You just make the claim, lineal descendant of the Aboriginal people to the land, Moors, Americans. You know what I mean? This is a portion, longitude, latitude of my ancestral state, national domicile. That being the highest claim to this land and this home. Anybody outside of that, show and prove you have a higher title, and it can't be a pilgrim. It can't be a lineal descendant of a pilgrim or a modern European. That's just, you know what I mean, what's on my mind from that. So
that's you can make the claim and challenge them and force them to have to respond and basically fall back if you know what you're doing with that. But I would suggest that you study more into that virtual action and start stripping people of what they call titles, you know what I mean, while they're trying to strip you of yours. And things
and
like that.
make this claim with the actual alleged claimant and then send it out to others, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And you got to remember the maxim, too.
Yeah, put that maxim out again.
Yeah, the maxim from John Bouvier's Concise Encyclopedia of Law, Francis Rawley's Third Revision, page 2151, says everything belongs to the soil, which is built upon the soil. All right, that's a maxim. So you got to remember this about the land and nationalize it. That's what it is, you know what I mean? So you don't get caught in the monopoly game that they're playing, you know what I mean? In the cheating game that they're playing, you know what I mean?
Okay.
You forcefully make your claim in writing, and you know what I mean? Fall back a little bit. That's what I would do. Under that type of
send all these things, since the mayor appoints this collector, send this to the mayor and the governor as well?
Yeah, I would send it to everybody Cujo was saying. Also, also you got to remember a joyful action is just that. So just like you have a cause of action, right? Your cause of action for joyful action, you want to make sure you bring it to the right venue where all parties are identified, you know, with the evidence. Who's claiming this or who's claiming it in the name of whoever, the name of the city, the name of the state. And, you know, just because people hold titles doesn't mean they have authority. So I kid you not. This is a fact. North American history right now. It's a place called Cormorant, Minnesota. And as we speak, the mayor of that town is a dog. Like, that's a dog, all for a dog. You know what I'm saying? So the title doesn't imply the competence, because Cormorant, Minnesota has a dog, a pet dog, as the mayor on his third term. Tell me how sick that is. Now, again, I'm just saying that to say don't let the positions of power, you know what I mean, like, confuse you. You know what I mean? Yeah, and that's really what it is. So I would go to everybody, but remember, you're bringing the action when you do a joyful action, basically saying, show and prove how you have the title or any right to this land. Talk about anything. Don't even talk to me if you don't have a title. And it better be a low to you. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
which is in the name.
You're the only one that has that. I would bring that to the Supreme Court, especially if they're claiming that a state agency is a party, still is a ramification or branch of the state. If they're letting them represent that, if they're in conspiracy, then that means that collectively it's a breach of fiduciary duty, of their obligation and things of that nature. So they're all held responsible. And, you know, again, Article 3, Section 2. So, yeah, start sending to everybody, so create liabilities, because, again, ignorance of the law is no excuse. And they have an obligation to see that. Now, I tell you, I don't have faith in them like that, but, you know, when you do what you're supposed to do, everything else falls in. You know what I mean? The word just, everything falls into place. So focus
because
on
now
the blame in writing.
Right, because now the magistrate has a liability now because he chose to ignore the fact that I was bringing a claim and claiming to be the heir, and also bringing it adversary claim to the probate.
No, but remember, a dog is a mare.
Right.
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 So don't get caught up in like he has some authority or something.
No, I mean he just created a liability for himself and attached himself to the claim.
No, like I mean, yeah, no, because he's not really. He's just a middleman.
Okay.
You know
he's not even a party.
He's not making a claim. He's not even a party. He's just somebody that's there playing. You know what I mean? Playing a bumper.
Right.
For you to bump off of. You know what I mean? And have you back and forth bumping off of that while they're doing stuff in the background.
Okay, so deal with
there's liability against them, but you haven't dealt with the real party yet. So talking about them doesn't even matter if you haven't dealt with the real party yet.
Okay.
You gotta deal with the real party first, and then when you deal with the real party, then now you draw them in.
Right.
Now you bring them in with all that stuff, but you're not gonna bring that to them.
Right. Okay.
Right.
So I was just making sure that the procedure, because they're not using normal procedure as I'm reading in their own courtroom rules and administrative procedures. And again, reading all that.
And that's because they're colored. That's because they're a fraud. So they're not going to follow anything. They're just running amok.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're just running amok. Anybody who they could get for whatever amount, then they're getting it.
Mhm. And that's what they're doing.
To pay, we're taking it.
Right, because they told me, hey, well, you can pay us $150 and $68 a month, and I'm like, what? How? He's just a complete fraud altogether by even saying that.
Yeah, and one more thing as well to add on, for the mothers listening. Mother's a good example of how you're supposed to know what you're talking about. You know what I mean? Because, her question wasn't about how do you do a process or whatever. She's already been through the process and got to the end. Now she has a question.
Right.
There's people who's at the beginning, they got questions. They didn't even go through nothing yet. So this is an example. So I just wanted to give honors to you because clearly you study.
Trying to anyway. Like I said, reading
you know what
this.
You're talking about. You know what I mean? So honors to you for that.
I appreciate it because reading these administrative, it's like this stuff reads in a circle, and they reference so many different things, so I have to stop what I'm reading, go figure out what this is talking about, and go back to it. And that's why I was saying, well, in probate, soon as an heir or someone, they bring what they call it a adversary claim, which can be a breach of contract with the fiduciary duties and all. And I'm like, well, they did that. This is a breach of contract. They have abandoned their fiduciary duties. They didn't electronically file the case when they were supposed to, how they were supposed to. It doesn't include any of the information that's supposed to be included. They said it's supposed to be published, and there's no publication. They're talking about liens, but I haven't found any evidence of any liens on the property. So where is all the evidence that they've entered so supposedly in the record? And you know how they say some things are sealed because they're just attachments to the claim that's been entered. But anytime any of these things happen, you're supposed to move it to civil procedure, which means then I am supposed to be able to come in as a party. So nobody has followed any of your own courtroom rules, and I've been here 4 times, and I'm here today, and everybody's like, we haven't gotten to that yet. Why are you here? we don't have a case number. That's not the case number. That's not the parcel. That's not the I'm like, well, why do you have us putting this stuff on our deed if this is not the parcel number? Oh, it's your account number. Okay. So and then I also was researching something about
it's business. It's bank. They're dealing with banking from the bench. It's a monopoly.
Yep.
Like account number. Think about that.
That's what they told me.
Think
it
about
was the
that.
city's account number. And then I also read that that all deeds are supposed to be accepted. Like once you get a deed, you're supposed to accept the deed. Just getting the deed doesn't transfer title. You have to accept the deed. So when my grandmother granted me the deed, I was supposed to accept her deed, acknowledge it.
Yeah, and really you're talking about the line of succession and inheritance at the same time. So if I was you, I wouldn't worry so much about the deed and start focusing on the title, which goes right back to your nationality, your free national appellation, your nationality. That's the title to the land. You know what I mean? And it just is what it is. So the succession they're talking about, you're looking for heir. I mean, that would be you and all your lineal descendants, if any. You know what I mean?
Right.
But we all are of that one nation who are the Aboriginal people here. And the bottom line is that when you know that, you know what I mean? You know that a pilgrim can't have a valid claim on your land. It's not international law. That's color of law.
Right, because even my deed says that it's for me and my heirs to have and hold forever, which is basically a trust, which is basically a covenant. So how can you override this covenant between me and my ancestor?
Right. Yeah, because they're looking at it more so as a business, not from a natural law perspective. Like they told you, that's an account number. There's nothing but an account number. So you got to bring it back into the realm of natural law, natural descent, lineal descent. That's the jurisdiction.
Right, and even their state law says that in order for a homestead or a residential property to be taxed, that there has to be a situs. Well, a situs is basically a corporation. I'm not running a corporation here. So either way, you guys are you're overstepping your jurisdiction and trespassing on my estate. And when I said that, he said, what? I recorded the whole thing. I set my recorder right in front of the judge and recorded the whole hearing. It wasn't even hearings, really.
No question. Well, sister, we thank you for your call tonight.
I
we do have a couple
of
callers. No problem. We appreciate you, and we'll be looking forward to like a call back in, a report. Let us know what you found. You know what I mean? How it develops. And again, of course, everybody know we'll be right back Tuesday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if I'm not mistaken, Brother Dula is doing the Wednesday at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. But either way, just keep us updated on what's really going on.
I will.
All right,
so that
love you.
Hopefully on the 17th we can have some things to discuss as well, because I'll definitely try to be there. Thank you, guys.
Islam.
You go.
Islam. Peace.
All right. Peace and love. All right. Cool. With that being said, we're going to go to our next caller. Caller 214-565. You're live on the air. Are you with us, fam?
I'm here, family. Islam. This is Abdul Malik Shakur Bey, calling from northwestern Mexico, from the Texas Republic territory. What's up, man? I hear you, Coach Joe. Son, I always stand strong and speaking the law on point. The young lady just got off the phone. I would advise her to go study the Clearfield Doctrine, because it will tell you expressly that corporations are not and can never be sovereign. They are not real. They are a fiction and only exist on paper. Therefore, all laws created by these government corporations are private corporations, regulation called public law. Statutes, codes, and ordinances to conceal their true nature. Do the judge and your lawyer know about this? You bet they do. Since these government bodies are not sovereign, they cannot promulgate or enforce criminal law. They can only create and enforce civil law, which are duty bound to comply with the law of contracts. The law of contract requires signed written agreement and complete transparency. That's it. That's the key. Did you sign it? And plus, it must have true, and you must know what is being transpired. You must have complete transpired. And Black Lives Matter, Cujo is off his zane. I love that. I love that. You know, me and my wife, we just came down from Houston, Texas. We had Taj and Sabir and Abdullah there, and we have a box, you know what I'm saying, and when we get packages and books from RVBey publication, and we get brochures, man, we done went to the print and play, we done print up brochures, and guess it's been in a book for the last 2 years. It called for everyone to see on my table, More Lives Matter. What about the Mo? Don't the Mo Lives Matter? You might think you're black, but guess what, though? You look in the mirror, you'll find out that you are M-O-O-R, and you with a empire, and it's the Moorish empire. I'm not going to keep y'all brother too long because I know y'all have other guests on the line who want to speak. But brothers, my sons of Allah, you keep doing what you're doing, and because we need to hear this here and instruct us and wake us up that our children and our children's children, because our illustrious prophet says this is for the young and yet unborn. May Allah be pleased. May Allah lead us to our destiny. Islam, I relieve the flow.
Islam.
I'm Brother Shakur. Thank you for always tuning in with a powerful message.
Always.
We appreciate it. Always.
Islam.
All right. That being said, we do have a decent. Oh, okay. Some people dropped off, but all is well. Call it 804-921. You're live on the air.
Islam.
You with this, fam?
Islam, can you hear me?
Islam.
Yeah,
yes,
boy.
we can hear you.
Yeah, this is Brother Azad calling near the Richmond Corporation.
Islam, boy.
Hoken. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to chime in from the show from Tuesday. It was something that you all were going over, and I started doing some studying. I went to the Moorish National Zodiac Constitution, and you all were talking about, you know, these brothers that getting people to naturalize. And right here in Article 1, you know, where it says the Moorish governing body protects and serves birthright and well-being of the people. And then it goes on to say that the history were rulers of nations, and it said that forced members of the human family into ignorance and despair. It goes into what you all were talking about, where they were forcing people into ignorance and to despair to do the naturalized thing. And it's just crazy, man, because like I said, all this, like the sister before, I mean, it's a lot of studying. Once you start getting into things, it's like, man, I can't believe this. Like, hold up. And it just, it kind of, it does energize you, because you get that second win when you get through all the BS.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm going over the thing too, Article 3, it's go along right what the sister was saying, you know, where it says until the Union lawmakers of the USA restore the Moorish Zodiac Constitution, Moors are not obligated to honor taxation without representation. I mean, I know that, you know, it all kind of ties in. So it's just, like I said, it's just crazy, man. It's crazy.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm glad you brought that point out, because there's so much information and so many places to start, you know, with that conversation. It's definitely a lot to take into, you know, consideration or you know, mental affirmations, excuse me with that. Yeah, mental affirmations of what time it really is you know, and the fact that these people just don't have jurisdiction. I was having this conversation the other day, you know, because I mean, I know it's not for criminals and quote unquote things like that. But like the brother was just saying, they can't even make criminal law. Everything is basically civil. But what I find is that, you know, a lot of people get caught up in, you know, being right or wrong, which, you know, I can understand that, but you have to remember that law is not about emotions. So the law, you know, is about due process of law. Whether you're right or wrong is the last, you know, that's the last determination of the whole process. It's about due process of law, meaning if you are wrong, right, or quote-unquote wrong in whoever's eyes, you know what I mean? You say you committed a offense or whatever, so that's color of law and things like that. But no matter what, even if you did, if they're claiming that the state is a party, due process of law goes back to there's a venue for the thing to be heard at. Whether you're right or wrong can't even be, that shouldn't even be a question unless it's in the proper venue. Like, you can't even get to that unless it's the proper venue. You know what I mean? So it's always about due process of law. You claiming the state is a party, not subject, you know what I mean, to the 14th type of jurisdiction. So this is the venue for a national. You know what I mean? Right, wrong, or indifferent is the last step. It's about due process of law. You know what I mean? This is why, you know, people, they get caught with all types of things, but their case go to the Supreme Court, and they say, yo, all of this has to be thrown out because from the inception of the kidnapping to the, you know, end, were processes and steps missing. So if you didn't have probable cause, case dismissed. You know what I mean? That's law. That's not feeling. It's about due process of law. That's it. So understanding the jurisdiction, how they don't have the power to tax, in conjunction with your international standing, when he was going into the Zodiac Constitution and things, you know, as far as not being taxed, that's a basic international law anywhere you go. Like the Pilgrims, I mean, people sign up, you know, people voluntarily pay certain taxes, certain things you're not going to waste your time arguing with the clerk about. There's other processes for that. But, you know, international law, the Aboriginal people are not subject to tax from foreigners. That's just the bottom line, land or otherwise, labor, you know what I mean, energy, whatever. So I just want to leave it on this note, too, on the note of taxes. And again, I suggest that everybody study the Zodiac Constitution like the Moor was just pointing out, and also the Bouvier's Law Dictionary and every other dictionary you can get in contact with. But in the Bouvier's, it says, where a state officer receives, quote-unquote, money for a tax paid under a duress with notice of its illegality, he has no right to it, and the name of the state does not protect him from suit. That's Atchison, T&S, FR Company versus O'Connor. Again, reference to Bouvier's definition of taxes, 1914. It says there must be a distinct and definite protest against paying the particular tax, meaning, you know, you have to distinctly and definitely protest. That does not mean, you know, hit the streets with picket signs. You know, that's not what that is. It's about rebutting the actual tax. You know what I mean? So it says there must be a distinct and definite protest against paying the particular tax on the ground of illegality. The form may not be material. It is enough if the tax collector was notified in writing that the taxes claimed were illegal and void, and that suit will be brought to recover back the amount paid. Suit versus Willis. So I just wanted to add that on in conjunction with all of those things. That's law CMB was talking about. That is law. You know what I mean? So you have to keep that in mind. And with that, I want to ask, is there anything else you want to add on, Sam?
No, but that you are on point. You and my brother here, Cujo. I'm telling you, Every time, like the other brother, man, every time I hear you all talk, man, I get excited, man. And I look back and I say to myself, like, I went outside and I looked, and the policy enforcers are in full effect, and they're walking around, scaring people, people running, and I see them pulling people. They got somebody put outside my house right now, on my domicile right now, and it's so crazy because it incites fear, especially when people are ignorant to what's going on. Even myself, like I said, I started getting little tingles in my stomach, and I said, well, what would I say, not being belligerent or getting myself outside of my character, but if they were to approach me in a manner, I would have to, like I said, be humble, but at the same time know what it is that I'm talking about. And it's just crazy, man. Like I said, the fear that they incite amongst our people.
Absolutely. Facts, man. Definitely. It is what it is. It's fear tactics. It's definitely fear tactics. But, damn, I forgot who I was talking to the other day or listening to. But, yeah, it is what it is. Fear is definitely not a positive attribute. Cautious, caution, it's never nothing wrong with that. But fear, can stagnate a lot. So it's about overcoming that as well. And, you only get that through experiencing what you thought you was afraid of. So it is what it is, man. But with that being said, we have a few minutes left. Oh, okay, yeah. And we have one more caller, fam.
Islam.
Peace,
so
Moor.
you want to add it one before we go to the next caller?
No, we're good, Moor.
Okay. All right. Cool indeed. All right. So, caller 347-734. You're live on the air. Are you with us?
Islam, this is RVBey again.
All right, Islam.
I just wanted to thank Bokon about the whole situation with the colorable courts and everything. Her words and everything, and her whole experience is so awe-inspiring. And I really appreciate, her courage and the fact that she has pushed through her fears to do what she does, because I really respect her as, I would always respect anyone, but especially her as just a sister, a mother, and a true empress to step out the way she has been doing. And I just really want her to hear that I really appreciate her so much for that. And just y'all allowing her to, have the platform to really speak on her whole experience. And it just gives me more of that courage to push on things that I'm doing as who I am. And, I just want to send her just love so that way she can keep going and keep doing what she's doing, but it's just so appreciative and everything. I'm really grateful for her and what she's doing, because she may not realize how much she is changing the frequency on this planet, you know what I mean? And just in the universe in general, and how she's affecting everyone, and how much she can really flip, this whole thing upside down in a good way, really, the better. So, thank you, Islam sister. I don't know your appellation, but I appreciate you. That's all I wanted to say.
Word, Islam.
Okay,
thanks for calling him.
Standing on the law.
Yeah, definitely. Big shout out to Sister Standing on Law. That's always a good look. You know what I mean? And shout out to all sisters. Thank you all for chiming in tonight, whether you press one or not. But we think that because your energy is needed. So salute to that. And we do have one more caller. MOOR. So we're going to get into that. And again, thank you, Anya. Thank you. I forgot the sister's appellation as well. But in spirit, I'll remember the voice. So right. Peace and love. Indeed. All right? Indeed. Cool, Joe. That's mission accomplished. You know what I mean? Inspiration, motivation. Yeah. MHHS of Allah, eyes wide open. All right? Caller 510-334. You're live on the air. You with this, fan?
I am. Peace and love, family. Peace and love. This is Anthony Ali Shanko Bay, calling from northwest of Mexham, near California territory. Islam.
Peace and love.
Cujo. Hey.
Good.
Good. That's the your last class where you were talking about Grand Sheiks, and you read from the Mysteries of the Silent Brotherhood of what sounded like the Mysteries of the Silent Brotherhood. It inspired me to read. Actually read it. It's hot all the way through, and I was just looking at chapter 13, and it in verses 18 and 19, it says, "Lo, men can read the signs of earth and sky, but they cannot discern the signs of the holy breath. But you shall know." And in this one here, it says, "The storms of wrath come on. The carnal man will seek a cause to hail you in court and cast you into prisons." That sounds like what's happening today when they're trying to take our properties or trying to just molest us all kind of different ways. And then it says, "And when these times shall come, let wisdom guide. Do not resent. Resentment makes you strong. The wrath of evil men. There is little sense of justice and mercy in the vilest men of earth." But this is awesome reading material. I purchased this through RVBey, and this has been a wonderful journey for me. Even like when you get notices in the mail, they're not signed, and all these different things in the past before coming into my Moorish heritage and nationality. Even those things frighten me, but now it's a peace that comes, and I just really appreciate everything. That tonight's show, the lady before, every time I hear her voice, it's awesome. Even everyone's all the broadcasts. I really, it's been life changing for me to be awakened under the teachings. So I really appreciate everything, and that's it.
Likewise, Islam, definitely, and likewise, you know what I mean. It's an honor to even be able to speak our piece in perspectives and exhibit facts, and you know what I mean, carrying on the audio tradition. So we thank you all for listening as well. You know what I mean? That's a major thing, you know. So we appreciate you all, everybody, you know, specifically everybody that tunes in, week out, or goes to the archives. Like, we really appreciate you all. I know that's real. And with that being said, man, you know, thanks to everybody. We have a limited amount of time and one more caller. So with that being said, Cujo, you want to say anything before we take our last caller?
George, I just want to say I second everything that you just said.
All right.
So, word, for sure. Cool.
Peace
all
and
right,
love.
Islam. Peace and love. Yo, Cujo, think about it, right? We, like, you know, we've all been studying, you know, been putting the message out, defending integrity and things of that nature for a long time, man. But I look back, it's like, yo, okay, we just surpassed 4 years with the MHHS Eyes Wide Open Principles of Nationality and Action. And, you know, this is not to sound egotistical in any way, but, like, we left a body of substantive audios, like, with substance, you know what I mean? From Tuesdays to the Thursdays, to the Sisters Standing on Law, all of these things, bro. Yeah. And I just want to say, indeed, you know what I mean? Big thanks, because when we look back, you know what I mean, in the own right, or some jurists, like, yo, we definitely correlative in each other's legacy to a certain extent. I know you do the most as far as putting things out, but, I'm just saying I'm thankful on this platform as well is what I'm trying to say. And thankful for you as well. So real talk, man, that's what it is. And like I said, once we hit our 4-year mark, we're going to keep turning up. I know it's a lot of things going on, but we'll get to that later. But for now, we're going to take our last caller. Caller 917-504. You're live on the air. Are you with us, family?
Islam, big brothers.
Peace, Moor.
Islam.
Peace. Peace to the brother Cujo. This is now Yale calling from New York territory. Giving thanks to all the brothers that came on and the sisters that came on. I'm loving the vibes. Eyes wide open. That's what we need. The vibration is positive, and we are divine. Because the Prophet brought us a divine and national movement. So we are divine as living beings. And without the divinity of our essence, we cannot do it at all. So we can't leave out the divine in any endeavors that we take on, any demonstrations. All this has to be done with the divine. And with that, I'll just say, continue doing what you're doing, Moors. Y'all doing a great job for our people. And I greatly appreciate it, and I love it. So all thanks to all the 720 studied Moors, and we just going to continue building for the nation. With that, I say peace. Everybody have a good night, and that's it. Divine wholeness and love.
Peace and love, Noble. Thank you, man.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. For sure. So, yes, indeed, we thank everybody for tuning in, calling in, all the positive vibrations and affirmations. Highly thankful for that. And with that being said, that's our last call on tonight.
Islam.
And Islam, Noble. So, any thing you want to say or announce before we head out? I'm gonna spin some of your music to take this on out.
Islam to all the Moors all over, that staying studious. Don't forget that the more information that you get, the more you're supposed to, empty your hands so you can get more. Don't keep your hands full with the info and not share some of it. And again, honors to MHHS and RVBey Publications and all the master teachers for putting down some work, so that we have a foundation to stand on, so that we have a base. And as well, Islam to you, Brother Miz, because you already know Sons of Allah is one of the good ones, and this has been a good run. It's been a good run.
Indeed.
And by the response of the people, it's, we just got to keep doing what we do, yo.
Real facts, bro. Real facts. And that's what it is. You know what I mean? That's exactly what it is, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So, yeah, man, and on top of that, we look forward to more events live in the flesh, in the same environment and things of that nature. But for now, man, I appreciate the ways we can stay connected. Do spirit first, you know what I mean? And then everything else manifests with that. So, look, thank you all, you know what I mean? Big shout out to Canaan Land Moors, including yourself and everybody there with you. Background and otherwise, salute to you all. MHHS Eyes Wide Open, RVBey Publications. Can't forget Active Moors, all Moors, as a matter of fact. And on that note, I think I'm going to go ahead and play us out with some of your tunes, man. Like the brother Shakur said, he said, just what a mole needs to keep it moving. So let's go ahead and get into
Don't forget willofalah.com.
Oh, yeah, yo, pardon me.
For all the Iron Sheik music. For all the Iron Sheik music. willofalah.com, Iron Sheik 1 to 6. And then there's some free stuff on there, too. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And then look out for the compilation coming out, Wow, Wisdom of the Womb by Al Moroccan. You know what I mean? And we're doing it for the Moors.
Fire.
Peace and love.
Peace and love. All right, get into that Iron Sheik 6.
And once we find our nationality and serve that nationality, we'll do for ourselves what needs to be done.
Keep thinking it's games, you already know these beats kill you on camera, leave you dead in the street. You're still handcuffed and bloody, but no 911 calls. Bystander effect in full effect, so watching with y'all, mind blowing. Watching my people holding up traffic of innocent people. My people need to get their ass kicked. Marching and picketing is most cowardice and funkified, while dead bodies just multiply. Sisters killed in their cells. You claim it's hell, you're raised and burned down your own community, not one police station. You love pork chops, but I see no police bacon. And when it comes to revolution, most of y'all are faking.
All ethnic groups in this country understand they got a nationality. Because you answer such stupid words like
Black lives don't matter, but you still claim black. Rather film someone get choked out, but won't choke back. And the one that uploads first face charges trumps up. What you think will happen when President Trump's up? More killing and murders of stateless herds. Hoods are concentration camps now, ghettos are birds. Gun stores short on ammo, they're melting down church bells. Black seek shelter in temples where God doesn't dwell. That's why a foreigner can walk in and shoot up your service. Praying to invisible gods give you the curses. You pray to relinquish, that's none of my business. I suggest you nationalize with the quickness. I suggest you study law, stop with it in your face. I see them spray the pepperish liquid, then pouring white milk on your face. I thought that milk was the devil. Some weapons drown the noise level. Boys, you rebels.
Because you answer such stupid words like Negro and color and black. You have
the point that I'm making. Blacks are mistaken. Call them highwaymen, not cracker pigs or bacon. Taking your tax dollars and riot gear, they relaxing. Cause in a black status, don't even think about a class action. Don't even think about rights being respected without getting injected. I see you infected. Then the same ones that violate the laws you re-elected. Your vote matters more than black lives feel disrespected. Control the Negroes, looks tested and perfected. That's why about being black I'm skeptic and left it. My people are tripping, walking with arms like panthers who got nowhere in the 60s, so that's not the answer. And black leader, race war instigator puppets. Teach kill those who killed us as justice. But have they ever killed? I say not. If they did it, say nobody to show. Yellow envelope, money in escrow. Accounts overseas, not in democracies. Living hypocrisies. It's all de jure mockeries, bureaucracies, vampiric. But most can't hear it. It's only the attitude. The regalia is not clan spirit. Until my people wake up, your struggle for rights continue. And your children's organs end up on the menu. You love text but delete the messages. More send you with no status. You're in the jurisdiction and venue of the same beast system you attempt to defeat. Only as Moors will you get them on the heels of their feet. Of the same beast system you attempt to defeat. Only as Moors will you get them on the heels of your feet.
The name of a people must relate them instantaneously to land, history, and culture. And anytime you call a people by their right name, anytime you call a people, name a people, and fail to relate them to land, history, and culture, you have called them out of their name. There's no black land or black hole. There's nothing wrong with the word black. Nothing wrong with it at all. Only it doesn't relate to a country. The name of every people in the world relate to country. And once you think instantaneously of land, you think of nationality.
Yeah. Hand Operation Rapper Inquisition. We still here. Operation Rapper Inquisition. All the gods and goddesses. Iron sheep, hip hop lives, yo. The deaf won't hear and the blind won't see the hidden message in the words of Drew Ali. NS indirectly, Boo Ali, one of the names of the prophets internationally. Drew said Moors proclaiming nationality, cause they're not Ethiopian or NBC. So he founded America's MST in 28. Me saying that they will cause debates. So needed to clear up the mess, but most debate so they can big up their chest to prove what they know and what they can do. Recreating the wheel that was created by Drew. When you know the truth, many debate, but few humble themselves and suppress the jungle himself. Do them, I just do me, keeping my gold while they trade in their jewelry. Tied to Rick and nature-based school me. You fool me in your dreams, dirty more things they could mule me truly. Who's the real Drew? Me and we. I've seen more, their religion is my mental degree, and where everybody's supposed to be. If not, I guess that's not where you're supposed to be. Hopefully, Drew Ali will be seen openly and realize NBC is something you can be. The deaf won't hear, the blind won't see the hidden message in the words of Drew Ali. The deaf won't hear, the blind won't see the hidden message in the words of Drew Ali. The deaf won't hear, the blind won't see the hidden message in the words of Drew Ali. The deaf won't hear, the blind won't see the hidden message in the words of Drew Ali. It seems unconscious Moors love the semblance of identity and having no remembrance of the Moorish past, no resemblance of the ancestral land inheritance. Love being the children, not the parents. To do any activity asking for clearance. Their minds like crystal, nothing but clearance. Everyone can progress in their land, the heirs can't. It's their status. Stop blaming racists who bleed just like you. If you shank their faces, you walk through here in pyramid spaceships, and they use that as an emblem on their aprons. And can't be free if not Moorish Masons. Black or more Europeans are not Caucasians. Coming to the new world to civilize pagans. With boats at harbors from mosques on hills, we sending in agents. The deaf won't hear, the blind won't see the hidden message in the words of Drew Ali. The deaf won't hear, the blind won't see the hidden message in the words of Drew Ali. The deaf won't hear, the blind won't see the hidden message in the words of Drew Ali. The deaf won't hear, the blind won't see the hidden message in the words of Drew Ali.
We transcend and ascend in this. It's a journey, just like the Moors traveling. Worlds upon worlds, the sound within. It gotta touch her as we excel. Past all the sort of truths and the lies they tell to keep y'all from drinking at the well. Divine love, that's the fountain of youth. Sun deep it, this is the alchemist secret. Restoring true unity, resurrecting our community. So every day you wake to fight. Though it's hard, it's rest God. In every demonstration, I'm penetrating to the depths of the mind. A noble chief, well kept and refined. You're feeling this right like the star Sirius. This musician is the son of man. I look within, Drew Ali on the canvas of my soul to replenish the whole, replacing the old. It's critical, reaching to the pinnacle. Native and original MC that's relevant, and the style is intelligent, but I keep it interesting. Dropping true math in the cipher if you enter in. The law is the center, so study yourself and be renewed. That's elevation, restoration through contemplation and meditation. Now the soul's navigating, manifesting art creation. The room of this mic, utilizing the light on the path. My body is an astro lab. I take the right actions, and my compass is compassion for internal alchemy.
The deaf won't hear, the blind won't see the hidden message in the words of Drew Ali. The deaf won't hear, the blind won't see the hidden message in the words of Drew Ali. The deaf won't hear, the blind won't see the hidden message in the words of Drew Ali. The deaf won't hear, the blind won't see the hidden message in the words of Drew Ali. shot in the back, running or choked out to death on the corners. Mistake the taser for his sidearm, says the coroner. To the yellow journalist that won awards for writing facts, for worldwide web press stories, always calling them black. Civil rights violated, here comes C1-7 and CIA and FBI agents, brethren felons with what Brick Brother once heard. Most Moors are nerds and study more than if I'm on the road, no biting curbs, no threats of nooses or fighting for survival. Making Moors martyrs won't happen, calling us captain rival. Inquisitionists, governors and secretaries of state got stateless on their tables like ribeye steak with no care, blood dripping. They eat blacks rare, foreigners wearing 6-point badges, pretending they're heirs to the vastest estate, Muguri Balaksa. Stateless blood flow past the horse's brow, I swear it's agua. Demons thirst quench, stealing pioneers and organs. Psychiatry, death industry, to start selling black orphans and half-closed coffins, cause legs are missing, killing stateless people, cancer won't even see remission. More lives matter, cause it seems like black lives don't matter. More lives matter, cause it seems like black lives don't matter. More lives matter, cause it seems like black lives don't matter. More lives matter, cause it seems like black lives don't matter.
System, what system? Not gonna make myself no victim. Run down and kick them up, educate oneself and flip them. All of their titles or nationality strips them. Must grip reality in order to really grip them in this third dimensional illusion. Organized chaos, confusion, stealing your attention, mental intrusion. Universal laws, declaration of the ancients. I self-law and master, from the rooftops to the basements, hoop deep to the spaceship, ever since all creation. Celestial foundations, ocean floor to the ranges, to the mountain tip, to the cosmic infinite. Basically we are way above the shit. In other words, get in tune with spirit. Take a breath and accept mental polarity, gender rhythm, correspondence, vibration, cause and effect.
More lives matter, cause it seems like black lives don't matter. More lives matter, cause it seems like black lives don't matter. More lives matter, cause it seems like black lives don't matter. More lives matter, cause it seems like black lives don't matter.
More lives matter, cause I think it knows sound off. It gets affected when rejected, put your mask off. Here's my perspective on the record to replay. All the news up on replay, so they wanna cast off. Bury them, on to the next one. Enough of them are gunning down. Use them a cast cross. Can't believe I copy that. Can't believe I Taj Pass. Trayvon, Michael Brown, die for us to find cars. The afterlife, visited the class wrong. Who they really wanna see with the crown on high and the guards on free? I am free and your business but your land or your country to seek your inalienable rights. The insatiable delight of knowing thyself and bringing all injustice to light. But the fight is your plight, make your sight for the bright. I'm the mic in the night, foresight for you to realize that,
More lives matter, cause it seems like black lives don't matter. More lives matter, cause it seems like black lives don't matter. More lives matter, cause it seems like black lives don't matter. More lives matter, cause it seems like black lives don't matter.
Fashion emergency hotline.
Help! My mom doesn't think I need to go back to school.
You have to go to school. It's the law.
You didn't let me finish.